Hey MVPs, Rico Knows here. Going to talk to you guys about the Dana White Contender Series. We just finished week 8 of Dana White Contender Series. Shout out to them. We're on season 9. We have 2 more weeks left. Pretty exciting fights tonight. We'll start at the very bottom and we'll work our way up. So in the first fight, it doesn't matter what happened. Nobody got a contract. Shout out to them. This Vagabov dude, if we ever see him again, he's kind of mid. Yes, he's a Russian wrestler. Yes, he trains with Khabib, and all them other dudes. He ain't it, bro. He's just kind of lame, talking shit in the cage. Didn't even win the fight all that impressive, and he didn't get a contract. He won 30-27, 30-27, 30, and did not get a contract because no one gives a shit what you're doing in there. You look boring as hell. Paulo, that's a kid over there. We're not worried about him. Next fight, Curtis Campbell, man. Curtis Campbell comes out. I called him Molly Ringwald, pretty in pink. Dude is obviously he's playing on that feminine side of the things, trying to say, hey, say something about me, bruh. He's got his man bun going. He's got his hair up. He looks ridiculous. He's probably got his fingernails painted. I don't care. He's an ass kicker. How did he fight? He fought a monster. And there was a couple of these African monsters on the card, right? We got Demba Sek and Kubanza. And then we had another one over here in Panas, even though they say he's from Aruba. These guys were all from Africa. So this entire fight card was African fighters. And even though Demba Sek looked like a monster, Curtis Campbell took that boy's lunch money, bruh. He went out there and smacked him around. It took 1 minute and 20 seconds. It was phenomenal. It was very dominant. He throws, and here's what he does. He gets in the clinch, and he looks for ways to inflict pain, and I love that. A lot of guys, they cannot do true MMA. They have to, do one thing, right? If we're grappling, they're only grappling. They don't know when to strike. If they're striking, they don't know when to change levels and get a takedown. That's the difference between an amateur fighter and a professional, is understanding how to layer in all the different quote-unquote martial arts. So Curtis Campbell did it well. I thought he looked good, looked like a fluid athlete, and he wasn't afraid of the task in front of him because this guy looked like a monster. Demba Sek looked like a monster, and he made it look easy. Shout out to Curtis Campbell. Obviously, Vegas knows about him. You're going to have to pay to take him. I don't think we're fading him anytime soon. He's going to get some punks for a while there. Shout out to the early prelim cards. Next fight, Christopher Alvidrez. Christopher Alvidrez from Southern California. Shout out to San Pedro. Fights out of Florida now. As soon as I saw him in his story, I got quiet on the mic and I let them tell his story because I'm watching him warm up and I'm watching him do strikes and I'm listening to his background. And I tell the MVPs, hey, I didn't want to interrupt his story because I think this guy's got it. I know he's got it. Just watching, and he's an underdog, plus 210. I don't know anything about these fighters. I'm just going off of what I see. And that's what happens in all these fights, right? I just go off of what I see. And as I'm watching it, I go, no, this guy reminds me of me. And what does that mean? Well, they said he had no specific skill set. So what that means is he's not a jiu-jitsu practitioner. He's not going to come out and just pull guard and look like a lame guy who doesn't know how to strike and all this stuff. Or he's not a boxer and only knows how to box and can't defend takedowns. No, he's a good all-around fighter. And those guys tend to have superior ground game, ground and pound. They have just the ability to beat you in scrambles, to beat you in the phone booth, if you will, in the pocket. And I like that. It reminds me of me. I'm being honest. I'm just keeping it real. It reminds me, no one would ever say I'm a jiu-jitsu practitioner, but I'm very skilled at jiu-jitsu. No one would ever say I'm a boxer, but you don't want to strike with me. It's that kind of mindset. I love what I saw from this kid. I thought he was amazing. I didn't know he was an underdog. At no point during this fight did I think he was an underdog. He looked like a gangster. Now, he did take one body kick, and I still saw him feel comfortable in the moment. At some point they clinched, and I go, yo, he looks like he's super confident. He felt the strength of his opponent. At first he was nervous. This guy looked super scary. Looked like a movie character scary. And he felt like, okay, I got to respect him, respect the power. And that's right. Be defensively responsible, make sure. But once they clinched, and then they released from the clinch, you saw his confidence build. And what I mean by that, he was willing to close with the enemy. He was willing to be in the pocket. He knew he had more strength, and he knew he was ready. And within 5 seconds of me saying, hey, guys, he looks like he's very comfortable right now, he goes and knocks this man out. So awesome stuff to Alvidrez. Looked like a monster. I hope he's not hurt. I saw him in crutches on the way to get his contract. I hope he's healthy and we can see him again soon because this guy's got it. I like the way he fought. Next fight, Mango Diaz is a scrub, fighting nerd guy who lost. And Luis Jordan, apparently he had a bunch of injuries and nobody wanted to fight him on the regional scene. And he was supposed to be in the UFC back in 2020 or something, 2019, due to COVID and all this stuff. He is Charles Jordan's little brother. He looked better than his brother by a mile. Luis Jordan looked like the biggest favorite on the card for me because he was never in danger. He was never in a position where I thought he wasn't going to win the fight. He looked like an experienced MMA fighter. He really did. They say he's going to try to get on the card in 2 weeks. I don't know if that's going to happen because there's a card in Vancouver in 2 weeks. But watching him fight, I was so impressed with the way he did things. Like, Louis Jourdain is a crisp striker. Before the fight, I was watching his highlights. I'm watching him move around in the cage. And I asked the MVPs, how many fights has he won by knockout? How many fights has he won by knockout? I needed to know if he throws pillows for fists or not. Because his movement when fighting other guys looked superior. It looked elite. And I can see it right away. So I'm like, hey, MVPs, talk to me. How many fights? So they tell me the fights. Okay. And then he's a brown belt in jiu-jitsu. Well, he won this fight by submission. He subbed a guy who was probably better than him on the ground, but he subbed him because it was a clubbing sub. He beat the shit out of him on his feet. It was over instantly. The speed advantage was there. Jourdain has length, probably more so than most of the people in the bantamweight division, especially a guy who's like 5'3" or something. But it really, really looked nice. Shout out to Jourdain. He looks like a polished fighter. I think he's a very skilled fighter. And this is somebody we'd probably back the next time we see him. And Vegas didn't think too highly of him. A minus 260 is not enough for me. He should have been the biggest favorite on the entire fight card. So shout out to Jourdain. And then in the main event, I think Vitor Costa is a good fighter. I really do. He lost the fight. He got knocked out in the first round. I talked about it. What did I not like about him is he was standing square. And when you stand square, I want you to think of Mike Singletary. I want you to think of a linebacker. You square up to the line of scrimmage, and that's how you stop your opponent from moving forward. If you go make a tackle, you square up as a linebacker. If you turn your hips to the side a little bit, you will get driven back. You will lose ground. You won't be there. In fighting, being square is terrible. That means your feet are almost even, and your entire torso, your entire chest-to-chest, torso, face, everything is open for striking. Victor Costa was open for striking. And I pointed out immediately, this guy's too square. He looks like he's going to take all these strikes. And on the other side, Penis here, Damian Pinas from Aruba. He's really African. This dude can speak all the languages in the world. Cool. Let me tell you what he can do. He can throw them things. Now, somebody in the comments said he was low volume. Well, I don't know about being low volume, but he's definitely a painful person to want to fight. Now, you're fighting in the middleweight division. There's going to be some fighters out there that can take these strikes. There are going to be some fighters that take you into deep waters. I don't necessarily know if I'm on Pinas like heavy every time I see him, but he's got that knockout power, and he's willing to bang, and he's willing to throw it, and it's accurate and it lands. I think he's something you need to be careful with if you're trying to fade him. So was impressed with Pinas' knockout power. He was fighting a guy who was fundamentally flawed, if you will, but he did good. He did well, and he won. The guy that impressed me the most tonight was Jourdain, for sure. He looked like a real UFC fighter. I love Alvarez. I don't think I'm going to fade him for a while. We'll see who he's fighting. I like the way this guy fights a lot. Curtis Campbell, probably a future English star. He's going to be one of those guys they put on the mic, and they're going to give him a lot of cupcakes early and let him get his win streak up for sure. The hype train is going to go heavy on this kid, and we don't have to worry about anything else. Thank you for watching the fights with me on the Discord server. I appreciate you guys. Remember, your friends don't know, but Rico knows. Peace, y'all.